When I passed you by, I saw that play in the street and called a voice, hey man, somebody's gonna lose their phone right there by close to you. Remember when you passed me yesterday on the corner? Or did you see it? Yeah. Right behind you, you just passed the spot. It's fixed and it's washed out.
How are you? You say
I said, no, dude, I think you need to put a call in because somebody's going to bury their front end. So the sidewalks is that stuff has to fix it.
Oh, you mean that long Indian? No, it was actually a retired lady from the university. Her and her husband are retired faculty members. They're on the phone. It's all she wants university dress.
That's for sure. I had an edge all the way to the front, so they must need to come out. Okay, yeah. What did they have?
No, the university south side has a sidewalk. It's a long sidewalk.
Oh,
It's a long piece. You see it.
Hammond City Council Public Hearing Agenda, September 26, 2023, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Divatario.
Here.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Wells. Councilman Andrews.
Present.
And Councilman Leon.
Present.
Public hearing item number 1.
An ordinance to extend and modify the moratorium on the acceptance and processing of subdivision plats, site development plans, or zoning amendments for multifamily housing within the city of Hammond for an additional 180 days. Councilman Divatario.
Introduced it last week. This is the moratorium that we have in place to extend it. There's a lot of a lot of improvements getting made and discussions through the planning and zoning on improvements for developments. We also have the enhancement committee working on different things as well. They're not there. They kind of go hand in hand in a different way, but they're looking at some of the consultant recommendations that were made that will affect some of that as well. Still looking for a city planner and all our important issues to be addressed before we let the moratorium up. So that's kind of where we're at at this point. So.
Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item? Please step to the mic. Give us your name and district, please.
I'm in District 5. My name's Deborah Swenson, and I live in Woodbridge Subdivision, 12 Ravenwood Street in Hammond, Louisiana. I'm actually the at-large member for the Woodbridge Community Residents Association, and I'm also here representing myself as a personal resident of the subdivision. Quite a few of us, the majority of us, are in favor of extending the moratorium. mainly due to concern over flooding. A lot of us experienced flooding during Ida and that kind of thing, and we're concerned about new things being built that could cause us to have some, flooding. I actually have a copy of a PowerPoint that was at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers meeting that the parish had for feasibility study. And one of the line items was, for their constraints and considerations, was avoid promoting development within the floodplain in accordance with Executive Order 11988 to the maximum extent practicable, which contributes to increased life safety risk. I actually was told, I wasn't home, but I was told by my neighbors who were trying to check on my home during Ida, there was a 25 to 30 mile an hour current going through my driveway. So I don't know that if I would have stepped out of my home or something that I couldn't have been in danger myself. So this is just something that we are, wanting to impress, that we would appreciate it being continued until further studies, maybe even for drainage, and I know there's some information coming up about that, but we're just concerned about that. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here on this item? All right. Introduction of our order, public hearing number 2, I'm sorry.
An ordinance directing the clearing of right-of-ways. Councilman Divatario.
Yeah, this was an ordinance that was introduced last council meeting. Some discussion came about protected trees, obviously. Live oak trees was not, one of the ones. They're protected in the city right now currently. So we've had a lot of tree issues and throughout the city, especially in my District 4, with during Hurricane Ida falling over, different trees on city servitudes that gave issues with communication, utilities, all the utilities at above ground, drainage issues, and really just a clear understanding on some from the citizens of exactly the process of getting some of them cleaned out and cleared out that are on servitudes. And this is more of a preventative maintenance throughout the years to plan ahead for hurricane seasons, and just good planning for services that are offered to people. And so this is more of a system where I was wanting to get in place to where the people knew where to go, sending an email to the city, get a line. They all don't have to be done at one time. It's not expiration, but it's on a list, a working list. They could address them by priorities. And if it was sent in by the actual property owner, not adjacent, kind of had some confusion on that and was kind of unclear on that issue. So that was something there, and it would not intending. It was never intended for the neighbor next door would not to tell what tree to cut. It was more of an adjacent to a actual city-owned servitude rather than actual servitude. So they had some messy on that end. So I would, that definitely is, I'm looking at, would like to amend that part of it, adjacent part of that, and just the property owner. And so that's pretty much where that started at. And so thank you.
Anyone from the public on this particular introduction? Public hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, President Kip. I was calling, emailed some today, and Andre gave me a call and cleared up some of the things that was in the language. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's the cleaned up language on.
Can we get your name?
Joe Meir,
What's your address, Mr.?
906 CM Vagan Drive. And so I'm looking forward to hearing the language clear up on this ordinance. I came in just a minute after we spoke about the moratorium ordinance. Can you give us an update on what's been done in the planning department in reference to the moratorium update? Give us an update on what's happened to try to get the moratorium cleaned up and back where we don't have a moratorium?
Yeah, you need to reach out to the committee. Did you reach out to them to talk to them? The ones on the committee.
There's a moratorium committee?
Yeah, it's a committee.
Well, there's a housing committee. I thought the moratorium was with the planning department.
Yeah, well, both of them working hand in hand. So a lot of that stuff, you know, that you're looking for, if you reach out to them, like you sent that email,
Yeah.
it's easy to send an email out to them.
Okay.
And you'll
who
find
I need to
out.
send it to?
What's the lady
Well,
name?
planning and zoning, we had a planning and zoning meeting, I think last week. I was out of town, but did you go to it?
I did not. I
Okay, all
wasn't
right, there
aware.
was a planning and zoning meeting. I think the chairman over there is, I think Colin Douglas. Is Colin Douglas the chairman?
I can
Lacey,
provide
you should
an
know, I
update.
think you were there too,
Yeah,
I
I can
think.
provide an update on this
Okay.
issue if the council
Okay,
wishes that.
okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that planning and zoning is, they're looking at a bunch of proposed amendment changes and improvements. Also, the enhancement committee actually cleaned up the verbiage that was online for the city planner that the consultant had, you know, minimum of 5 years experience, 2 years, I think, of leadership roles. And the city have originally had up there 6 months or something, and really not what the consultant said, so they redid that. They upped some things, trying to get a good city planner. I think we budgeted a little more money to actually try to go after a good, qualified city planner. And I think that's a huge part right there going forward. And even if you get someone in, they still got to get adapted and learn what's going on with the city. So it doesn't happen overnight. And so those big, high-density developments are some, you know, serious issues to look at to see, especially while we're working to improve some issues. So that's kind of where we're at right now from what I know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, I know
Yeah.
we've expanded it to multiple things now, not just 5 units or more. Now there's multiple things in the moratorium. So I was just wondering what progress has been made in trying to get it cleaned up. So thanks for the
Yeah,
update.
Sal Nicolosi, 3607 Highway 190 West, Hammond, Louisiana. I'm in District 4, and probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had an incident on the right-of-ways, and I had to call the city, and I forgot who I talked to, but I talked to them. And on these right-of-ways, it's, for what I'm understanding, we have, you know, the city's supposed to take care of it. Well, actually, the right-of-way was about 4 foot tall of grass, and then a tree had fell across on the right-of-way. So I did tell who I talked to that, you know, the trees was there to be careful when they come through that bush hogging. And they came and they went around it, but now the tree limbs and all are still on the property, which is the right-of-way. So I'm asking the city to take this ordinance seriously, because we're not cutting trees down. It's trees that are falling on right-of-ways that need to be cleaned up. Thank you.
Mr. Sal, where is that located? Where is the tree down in the right-of-way? Where is that located?
Between Tina Drive and Pete Nicolosi Lane.
Ask a question, please. This I probably have to come from the administration. Where does it say the right-of-way for each street?
It depends on the map. So each street has a dedicated right-of-way when that street came into being. So when that street was originally constructed, it came with a plat map. And on that map, it describes the amount of right-of-way, which is typically for utilities to be installed, water, sewer, fiber, all those good things to be installed. And so that's the part that the city has access to in order to provide utilities and services to customers.
So generally, if you look and there's a sidewalk, that's usually the case of where it's, for the most part, going to end. Generally, it's 15 foot off of the center of the road to the side, depending on the road. It could be even further if it's a major corridor, if it's 190 or something like that as well.
Okay, and the reason I asked, Robert Williams, I had met him at the job site. In the process of meeting him at the job site, he telling me it's at the edge of the sidewalk on the inside. Now, I look and I see what a water meter is 3 feet away from the sidewalk. And so,
Well, the water meter could be on the property of the owner. I mean, it can be placed on the inside of the property line.
okay, well, what about the light pole?
Same thing, generally, they're on the property line for the most part.
Okay, what about the fire hydrant?
Generally on the property line, unless there's a problem or they just put it one side or the other, but it's pretty close to where that line is.
Yeah, okay, I understand that, but see, and this is where we have a problem at. The homeowners and all the city councilmen, they might know, I don't know. We need to have it in black and white where if I go look at the rules, I can see exactly where the water meter is, where the gas line is, where the fiber optic. I can see on a map where I can find this stuff at. See, I learned it since being up here, but a lot of the homeowners don't understand it and stuff. And apparently, for the record, the man that y'all have in charge, he don't understand it. And I'm saying this here because when it comes to a tree, you can stand in the middle of the road and walk it off or give me a measurement. Now, this come from Robert Morgan when he was here, and this here come from Robert Williams. But this time, we didn't get no tape. We didn't mark it off. We didn't walk it off. He just told me the edge of the sidewalk. And that's not good. You know, we need something in writing where I can show the homeowner, because we got a problem with a tree. And this is what I need, and that's why I asked, where is the line, you know?
Every road's different. What's the address? Because we can get with Chuck and see exactly what measurement we have to take off of that particular road from the center line and mark it off.
On the corner of J.W. Davis and White Street.
I mean, you shouldn't have to do
We've
this.
talked about this before, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing though, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Lacy, and for the council members and the people in the audience, we keep talking about it, but the tree is falling every day. Limbs is falling out the tree every day, but we keep talking about it, but.
Well, apparently Robert thinks it's on private property. So we'll get a specific measurement from the center line and I'll go out there personally and take care of it.
Thank you.
I'll meet you out there and we'll measure it off.
Thank you.
So are we going to discuss what the changes to the proposed ordinance would be?
Yeah, that's,
And how this changes our existing ordinance of 2058 that already describes how trees are removed and the urban forestry committee and the right-of-way and all those things?
as to the tree ordinance, I just wanted to note that the one that's hyperlinked is not the one we introduced. So there are changes to it, which are good. Doesn't address all my concerns, but, so they were changed, right, Andre? This was changed?
Yeah, what was actually hyperlinked was a version that was circulated with some of my comments to that. Yeah, that was
Okay.
not the version that was introduced. So if it would come up for final adoption, you'd have to work off of the version that was introduced and then make changes off of that.
So, Andre, ask you a question. So, it's been 2 weeks since we talked about this. So, have any of the councilmen, have anybody sent you any information about this here? About the trees?
I got some information from Lacey,
Okay,
and I sent out a communication with my suggested changes.
okay. Have any other councilmen sent anything to you?
Not by email, no, sir.
Okay. Well, what about phone call?
I don't remember. I may have talked to Councilwoman Gonzalez briefly about it, but nothing substantive with suggested changes.
Okay. And the reason I ask, because it's a habit when I ask a question, why my question wasn't sent in, why I didn't do this here. And from you to Ms. Lacy, to Ms. Gonzalez, to Mr. Steve, you all had 1,000 questions on why this here can't be done. And in the process, just like Sam sent the email, you all could have sent the email to him, but oak trees, everybody in the city of Hammond know about an oak tree, what you can do and what you can't do. Treat people the same way you want to be treated. That's all I'm saying. And if not, we're going to always have 4 hours meetings. Always. So the biggest pushback that he have is from the administration, from you, the attorney. Instead of sitting down trying to work with him, getting everything settled out with Sam, let's do it like this, let's do it like that. The problem is the city council need their own lawyer. Because whenever we put something on the agenda that you don't like or the administration don't like, we come in every week talking about the same thing. We will never get nothing done if we keep talking about the same thing. We can't keep doing this. But until the city councilman come up with their own lawyer, we're going to do better. We're going to move on, just like the chief of police. We can find 1,000 things that we have issues with. We need to get our own lawyer. It came up before we was able to get a lawyer. We're not going to never get nothing done. The city is not going to move on until we get something done, and then we get an understanding from you, the administration, and the city councilman. We have issues. Everybody don't have all night to be up here.
Well, I'm happy to respond. So,
Yeah.
Councilman, I didn't prepare the ordinance, and as you've requested, if you have comments, circulate those comments, which I did to you and to all the council members and to the administration. So that is my follow-up. I don't know how else to do it but to send it to all council members with my comments. My comments are for what I believe are my comments, are my honest comments. You're free to disregard those comments if you wish. But if I'm asked for my thinking and my comments, I'm going to provide those. And that's what I did. There's no other way to do it. My communications with Sam had asked me some questions. I communicated with him. When a council member asked me a question, I communicate with them. So, Councilman, I think your remarks are offline because I did exactly what I was asked to do, and that is to give my comments to the council.
Well, I did make, a comment to you originally, and that's I was going to try to go through you to get it done, but it kind of got some resistance whenever I brought it up originally, discussed them verbally, and so therefore I did get an ordinance because, it does seem like, if something, at the end of the day, you work for the mayor, I know it's a council, but if there's some resistance from administration and a bunch of excuses and reasons of why something, it's a different approach you take. And therefore, I did get it, drawn up, somewhere else that should worked on it and then sent it in. And so it was introduced. Not sure how there was any confusion on something that was introduced and then something that was circulated that never requested amendments on it, how it ever got confused, a post online or whatever you were trying to tell me before the meeting. But at the end of the day, what was introduced last meeting, and you did circulate something that had some questions came in from administration about this and that. And so it should have been the same thing introduced today, and it should have been on a link. And then you can make amendments on there or discuss it or whatnot at that point. So no clue how that happened. Never has happened for anything else. So, I don't understand. But either way, it is what it is on that. But we can make excuses about awards and everything else, but we're going to lose awards we're going to get because we're cutting trees off of servitudes or all this stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, we had a serious hurricane, Ida. We had a lot of trees down everywhere. And we had a lot of people out of power, at least in my district. District 4, I know for sure because I got all the phone calls. So I can't talk about the whole city. But I know District 4, 30 days without power, 30 days without internet in some areas. That is a problem to me. And therefore, I heard expenses, how much it's going to cost. Well, we have a stump grinder we bought $70-some thousand. A lot of expenses already there. We already bought. We got workers. We got things. And there's no expiration. There's a process. Trying to put an email in place. People don't even know where to call, who to call. They call the city, this and that and all that. Email, you put it in there. You get a ticket number. You might have 60, 70 work orders on there. There was no ever expiration on there about expenses. They got to get it all done in one day and have it done. Cut as a priority, get them done, put it in there, and it's a working process to improve for next hurricane or next disaster, not even a hurricane. We had a storm come through Villa West area the other day, and it was like a little tornado. It blew all kind of trees down everywhere. There's still light poles that are, bent and waiting to be straightened out right now. But at the end of the day, it's also a process that the city can work off of by calling a utility company and letting them come cut some of them. So it's a working in progress list, organized, sent in by email on a portal, and having ticket numbers, and then they can help out, get the energy to cut, maybe remove some trees. I mean, they do what they want. Sometimes they cut them down halfway. Sometimes they trim barely a little bit off. Sometimes they got rules of 10 feet away from the power line. Sometimes they don't. So they do what they want too. So at the end of the day, this is something that I'm trying to get organized on paper to where it's easy. Not trying to cut live oak trees, not trying to do any of that. That was something that needed to be cleared up since there was some confusion, and it was, ran away with the, live oak trees. We're not ball cutting lots and wanting to remove every tree in the city of Hammond, but there's a lot of servitudes, even bushes and brushes. If anybody drives through the city, at least in District 4 that I drive through, there's brushes that have grown all the way into the intersections where they need to be trimmed and cut. I mean, I think we got a street department that should be driving around checking when they look at an intersection and reporting them. It's 2023, all the technology we have. There's iPads, you can drop pins, work a working list on these intersections. I shouldn't have to call in every day to tell them. The people shouldn't have to call in every day to tell them about these safe intersections. This is all about public safety, and everybody should want to improve a system that helps public safety and preparing and planning ahead. And so that's what I have to say with the tree ordinance.
So we introduced it originally and I pulled it up from last week's. So I guess the question is, go for it. Vote on it as it's introduced or with the amended changes, because we talked about some of the issues. The one that's hyperlinked, it's very easy to say a motion to amend as attached to the agenda. Or if you don't like that, then we motion to vote on what you introduced. Clear it up, don't have to spend 4 hours on it.
Anybody here from the public has anything to say about it? About the intro?
I wanted to ask again, because I don't know that this was answered. So are we leaving in when requested by the property owner or adjacent property owner, or are we taking?
My recommendation was I wanted to take out the adjacent because the way it was written and all, it was kind of unclear and misunderstanding. I think it's just easier to take it out than to try to explain what I was trying to get at with the adjacent, because sometimes it is adjacent, sometimes it isn't. So instead of just confusing things, we'll just leave that out. And if there's an issue with that, then be a case by case instead of having somebody thinking that I meant the next door neighbor to it or whatnot. But some areas, depending on how the servitudes are laid out and property owners, it is an adjacent rather than in front of. So, but anyway, so I was 100% on board on that. And also making sure that any protected tree, all I know of is a live oak tree. I don't know if there's any other protected tree in the city of Hammond, but do you know anything about that, Andre? Anything besides a live oak tree?
Yeah, there's storm management and there's other urban forestry. There are a couple of ordinances that deal with trees in the city.
But are they in the way of a power line? Are they in the way of a certitude?
They could be.
Okay, but if they're in the way of a certitude and it's a danger to the community, that's all they asking for.
Councilman, absolutely, and that's where my change was. My change was a tree in the right-of-way, and really it's the case anywhere. If it threatens public health, safety, or welfare, take it down. That's not in the first ordinance as it was introduced. That was in my suggested changes. If it threatens public health, safety, and welfare, no matter what kind of tree it is and where it is, it ought to come down.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that was said. My wife and I, last week we started riding around through all 5 districts on bicycles, but you can actually see what's going on. Since Ida, we still looking at stumps. I'm talking about the roots, right there on the one-way. When you're going out of town, right there on the one-way, on the south side, you can see where the sidewalk, all this here busted up at. This tree ain't never been removed. And I'm saying, man, this right out of downtown. And I'm saying this here, everybody district, I rode through all y'all districts, and looking at different issues and saying, dang, that tree could be cut. That tree could be cut. That tree dead. And I'm saying this here, and we riding a bicycle, and I'm seeing all this here, but yet we sitting here all this here talking, And a lot of people in the audience, residents, taxpayers, they don't know the process on how to get a tree cut or who to call. So that's all we're asking for. I definitely need it in my area. So I don't think was that, and Mr. Andre and I thank you for saying that. If it's a danger, should nobody have to go back and forth. Here, me and Mr. Mayor got to go out and look at a tree that's been like this for 2 years. Every time the wind blow, limbs fall. Every time it rain hard, limbs fall. So why we got to keep going back and forth about a dead tree? And God knows, and I'm gonna say this here, I done been over there once. I thought I went over there with your best man that's supposed to know, but he don't know. Now I gotta go over here again.
Well, you don't need to go. The best man said it's not on city property. So the process is you can call City Hall. We put it on a list. If it's a danger, we get to it quicker than we will something else. The process is there. The decision of whether or not it's on private property or public servitude or public property is the issue. Carly called with one that was in a ditch. Kylie Bates was called. The tree structure was standing tall. The water was rushing around it. It wasn't in a direct path of the creek. Looked like it to us. And Carly said it wasn't a danger. There wasn't a house near it, but the neighbor said, hey, I think the tree should come down. Kylie Bates, Drainage District Supervisor, said at this time it's no problem. So there are times if it's not in the city limit, if it's not on city right of way or drainage right of way, whatever, and it's on private property, we're not going to cut it down. That's the responsibility of the neighbor, of the homeowner, of the property owner. That's what Kylie said. If it did become a danger, we would go over there, we'd cut it, and we'd lay it on the side of the canal that we think the property is closest to. So this particular tree wasn't going to be cut down. It wasn't a danger to anyone, so he fell. So there are different circumstances. If the tree's been there for a few years and it's on private property, you know, that's the reason why Robert Williams said that. And I'll go out and take another look. I'll get Chuck to give me a distance to measure off of and see. But generally, the process is there and it's handled.
Well, see, just like you, Kylie, and Carly was able to do that, that's the same thing I want for my neighborhood. See, those are the things that I don't get.
Robert Williams went. He said it was not on city property.
Apparently, Mr. Mayor, Robert Williams don't know. Honestly, he don't know. Because you know what? That's why I asked about the certitude.
Well, they're different on different streets. So I will get a measurement from the engineer and I'll measure it and let you know. But from what we hear, it's on private property. Sal?
I guess what's going on is that we're not talking about private property. We're talking about right-of-ways. And the city is liable and responsible for the right-of-way. Why should a resident have to call the city to maintain a right-of-way? If the street or Robbie Williams, whoever's in charge, if they were doing their job and checking the roads instead of riding around in circles, every time I see them, they're running all over the place, but I don't see them ever on a job site. So what I'm saying is I've seen it for years. It ain't just started. This has been going on for years. And we talk about right-of-ways now, the city right-of-way. We had to give up the right-of-way to the city to get certain things done, okay? Which I thought was, you know, kind of a little bit reward for the city. But yet, that city does not even maintain it now. So I'm in favor of this ordinance. You know, it's just simple, ABC. It's ordinance, it's the right-of-way. It ain't saying private property, it ain't saying about other things. It's saying the right-of-way.
Well, we'll go out there and check that right-of-way. And I'll tell you right now, our city employees aren't riding around in circles.
Well, I can tell you what,
comments.
Mr. Mayor, they are. Because I'm going to take pictures of it for
And you have been asked in the past to provide those pictures and those comments, and we still do not receive those.
So, Andre, my question here for this particular proposal, what needs to be Councilman DiVittorio said he wanted the adjacent taken out. What you sent in about if it's a danger, it needs to be removed.
So this is the public hearing part of the meeting. So when we get to the final adoption, that's when you'd make a motion if you wanted to amend it as introduced.
Okay.
In whichever fashion you want to do, and
All right.
we can work through that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And I guess that's the context that I'm just trying to say, is that was passed in January of 1986. So the idea of how we handle trees in the right-of-way and how we handle them if they are an imminent health or safety threat, hazard is probable. This talks about construction of driveway buildings. I mean, it's all in here, and so that's my question, is if we're just looking to clarify a process, if we're trying to establish an email address, that's something we can do tomorrow. But if we're really trying to pass a law change, we're not changing anything by what's here now. That law already is on the books.
We're cleaning it up a little bit because it seems like there's some issues, so. All right.
All right. Hammond City Council regular session agenda, 6:03 p.m., September 26, 2023. Roll call, please.
Councilman Wells,
Here.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilman Andrews,
Present.
Councilman Leon, Councilman DiVittorio.
Here.
Our prayer. Most gracious, loving Father, we thank you. We give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, we give you thanks on today, dear Heavenly Father. Just thanking you for who you are. Thanking you that you woke us up this morning, closed in our right mind, with health and strength in our body. Father God, we ask that you continue to look down upon us, continue to guide us and keep us. Father God, we stand on your word because we know that you are not the author of confusion. So, Father God, we thank you that everything will be done decent, order, pleasing in your sight, where you will get all glory, all honor, and all praise. Continue to bless our city, continue to bless our state, our country. Continue to bless our men and women that protect and serve us. Continue to bless our city as a whole right now, Father God. We thank you for it all right now, because without you, we are nothing. Build us up, Father God. Bind us together right now, Father God, to be able to do a job that you have designated us at this time to be able to perform, to carry out, to do. Father God, we need you. We're standing up on your word. We're standing up on your promises right now. And we just give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, and we give you thanks. In your darling Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Our pledge of allegiance, we ask that all veterans and active military please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need to get an approval of our minutes from September the 12th, 2023, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Wells,
Abstain.
Councilman Leon,
Aye.
Councilman DiVittorio.
Aye.
All right, now we're down to our presentation for the night. Step to the microphone and give us your name.
Hi, my name is Tom Pierce. I'm with South Central Planning and Development Commission, and I'd just like to thank the mayor and the council president, council members for allowing us to be on the agenda tonight, and also Miss Lisa for coordinating my presence here tonight. Our purpose is to help small businesses with economic development, and we are designated by the state of Louisiana as a public planning commission in the state, one of 8. And right now we have a current program where we help small businesses that's been impacted by Hurricane Ida or the flood of 2021. And we just have a few comments. I'd like to introduce our attorney, Mr. Cullen Curall, and programs manager to give you a little bit more detail about what we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cullen Curall, and I also am with South Central Planning. In front of you, you had a black and white one there earlier, but then I brought a color version. This is a PowerPoint presentation. It supplements the brochure. The brochure has a lot of information, including the phone number, the website, and again, much more information, but I'll go through the PowerPoint. Again, this is federal money sent to the state. The state has hired South Central and other intermediaries to put this money out to small businesses impacted by. I'm here today to talk about Ida. It was very, I kind of enjoyed listening to Hurricane Ida. It is still in everybody's mind, and you know the damage has not all been cleared up, and that's the same for small businesses. They're still reeling, many of them, from the storm. This program is kind of a twin. There is a similar program for the western part of the state for hurricanes Laura Delta. So everything I say tonight about Hurricane Ida and the May floods of 21, if you know businesses on the, across the state, it could be impact, they too could take advantage of this opportunity. So again, small business impacted by, small businesses can mean nonprofits. Nonprofits that have earned income can be considered a small business. The map, again, you see Tangipahoa is right in the center of the Ida map. What makes a business eligible? Well, it has to have at least one employee. The owner, if they're active, can be the employee, even if they don't pay themselves as they do their employees. No more than 50 employees. The opportunity is here for small businesses, the mom and pop businesses that serve your communities. Had to have been open for Hurricane Ida, have to either still be open or ready and willing to reopen if you've not been able to reopen. Have to have a minimum of $25,000 in gross revenue, and that's in the year prior to the storm, so that would be 2020. That would be the number, the gross income number on your tax returns for 2020. And then the other one, experience either a 20% decline in revenue. For Hurricane Ida, we're comparing either 2020 to 2021 or 2019 to 2021 because of COVID. Again, COVID was an awful year to be comparing numbers for. So to be eligible, you have to have that 20% decline in revenue or, and not and, but or, a $10,000 of physical damages from the storm. And again, this is, everybody talking about trees. A tree can fall on your car, and there you go. You have $10,000 of damage, or the light pole, whatever. It's not very hard. I know Hammond is blessed that it's far into the coast that may not have gotten the impacts as if you were sitting on Grand Isle, but I have heard from many consuls that y'all were impacted. And again, $10,000 of physical damage is not that hard to evidence. So if you are eligible, if you've met those requirements, what are you eligible for? I will start by saying, yes, it is a loan. I know everybody wants grants, and the housing program that has the similar name, those were grants. This is a loan, but the state is calling it a forgivable loan. I will say it's a partially forgivable loan, and get the details to you. How much can you get? We're going to calculate 6 months worth of your rent or your mortgage. And again, we're talking about the business location. We're going to calculate 6 months of your wages, non-owner wages, 6 months worth of utilities, gas, water, electricity. We've even gotten the state to make a change that you can count the fuel if you have a fleet of vehicles for your business. Let's calculate the fuel and calculate 6 months worth. Inventory, if you're a retail establishment, it's pretty easy to get a number that's pretty big if you're calculating 6 months of your inventory costs. Movable equipment. If you had a piece of equipment that was damaged, if you've repaired it, we can reimburse the repair. If you've replaced it, we can reimburse that replacement. If you haven't been able to afford to repair or replace, we can fund the repair or the replacement. If you can think of a piece of equipment that would have made your business more resilient, because you know there will be a next storm, and the easy thing is a generator. Again, if the gas station, if the grocery store, if the pharmacy could have had a generator, they would have been operating. I heard Mr. Sam say that some areas didn't have electricity for 30 days. If you had a generator, you could have been operating. So this program, the things that I've described, we're stacking. We're building a dollar amount of what can be an award to this small business that is eligible. Again, we're talking anything between 10 and 150,000. If you can justify it, if your business can justify a bigger number, the state will allow us to argue up to $250,000. So yes, it's a loan, but let's remember it's a partially forgivable loan. If you can get 150,000, or let's just go with 250,000, it's a 0% interest, no payments for 6 months, and then amortized over 7 years. So that's really 7.5 years of 0% interest. When you get to the 60% of repayment, if you've done your paperwork, what is the paperwork? You've turned in tax returns, you've turned in receipts, you know, you've helped with it's a federal money, so there's going to be some federal reporting. If you've dotted your I's and you've crossed your T's, that last 40% is forgiven. So think about it, 7 years later, you can have that 40% forgiven. In that tax year, that 40% will be taxable. But still, if someone wants to give me $250,000, I do what I'm supposed to do with it. I turn in my receipts, I turn in my tax returns, I pay back $150,000. That last $150,000 can be forgiven. That's a pretty good deal. So I say that. We have an office on the campus at the Business Center. We have had 2, maybe 3 dozen applications, but I know there are many more small businesses in this area that should be taking advantage of this. Yes, it's 2 years later, and yes, many people have moved on. Good for them, but it's still a good deal. It is worth it if you can make yourself eligible and take the time. There's a little paperwork, it's federal money. But again, take the time to get yourself in the system. The application period opened May 1st. It will close December 31st, and I say that, it may be extended. But we need to get some applications. We need your help to let these businesses know about it so that they can come in and apply. You can literally come into that office in the Business Center on the campus. You can do it online. Again, the brochure has scpdc.org. You can do it online. Or literally call that 800 number and schedule an appointment. We just need your help in getting people to know about the program. I'll take any questions.
What, kind of like from start to kind of finish, if everything, you know, moves pretty quickly for the applicant, you know, so if they have all their stuff together, like what is a time frame as far as from start the application and actually like receiving approval?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Again, we started in May, and we have the first dozen or so files at Baton Rouge. The state, via this program, bought a new set of software, so we're literally working through their bells and whistles. You have to have a little patience. I apologize for that, but
So when was the application? You said you had 2 or 3 dozen?
We started May 1st. We have over 500 applications. We have about a dozen that have made their way to the state for funding. We're still waiting on those first checks to apply.
And that started around May 1st, a lot of those came in? Okay.
Correct.
So
When I firmly believe that when we start getting these first checks, they're gonna start rolling. But again, we have not gotten through to the first one getting $1 yet.
okay.
And again, it has to do with software. The state hired a consultant to build a new software system for this program, which may have been conceptually a good idea, but we're dealing with it. Send us your applicants.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll have more brochures here if anyone in the audience wants.
Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you. All right. Andre, I have a question for you. And I haven't totally made up my mind, but I'm contemplating the process. If I was to vacate the seat of the president of the council, how would that go? And my reasons for asking this question is because everybody has an opinion of what you should do, and they don't know what it is unless they're sitting in this seat. To try to be fair to everyone. I've never disrespected anyone, never got out of line with anyone. A lot of people don't know exactly what's going on in your own personal life that you're dealing with. For instance, I'm not asking for no sympathy. I'm dealing with my mom who's been sick since the day after Thanksgiving. She has not walked. And you carry a lot of stuff with you. And all I want to do is be fair to everybody. You know, I don't get out of line with nobody. If I did, I apologize for it, but something got to change. And if it's here for, we're here for business, and that should be the main agenda right there. And I understand everybody's passion for what they do, but something got to give. And I just want to know what the process would be, because sometimes you might end up with something that you don't want.
Yes, sir. So first, good luck with your mom. And then secondly, so if you mean resign as president,
Yeah.
the council would vote for another president.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, final adoption of an ordinance number 1.
Final adoption of an ordinance to extend and modify the moratorium on the acceptance and processing of subdivision plats, site development plans, or zoning amendments for multifamily housing within the city of Hammond for an additional 180 days. Councilman Divatario?
Yeah, we went over it several times. Anybody here from the public has anything to say, which we had to.
I guess I do have something to say, Sam, but on this, whenever you got it modified and stuff like this, we've been doing this now for like the last 180 days, is that correct, or longer?
Yeah, it's probably been probably about a year now. Yeah.
Okay. And what I'm concerned with is the building, you know, that's going into neighborhoods and stuff now, where we starting to have trouble in duplexes, much less, or townhouses, much less multi-buildings. So my concern is to keep it, you know, to a minimum of like maybe townhouses or something like that. But once you get above that, I'm not in favor of that for the city of Hammond. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
No.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
No.
Final adoption of ordinance number 2.
Final adoption of an ordinance directing the clearing of right-of-ways. Councilman Divatario?
Yeah, I would like to, I'd like to make a motion to approve with amendments of the removing the adjacent property owner. And do I need to kind of put it all together, like all the amendments together, or got to do it separately?
I think you can. I mean, I think the first thing is to amend it. And then if it gets amended, then you vote on it as amended. So if you want to, what you would do is make a motion to amend the ordinance
Okay.
as introduced and then lay out what your
Yeah.
amendments are.
I make a motion to amend, amending the ordinance, removing the adjacent property owner, and adding the ordinance shall not supersede any existing ordinance relating to removal of live oak trees and stormwater management.
To be clear, that's amending what was introduced, not what's hyperlinked.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
So removing number 4.
No,
Well,
this is the old one.
I was going off of
Okay.
the original introduction
Oh, I'm
of
sorry.
the original one that the only one that was introduced. That's what I'm going off of last meeting, and then I'm referencing to the one item 1 on there, which has the adjacent property owner, and I'm using the red line proposal by Andre with the ordinance shall not supersede any existing ordinance relating to removal of live oak trees and stormwater management.
Okay.
Did we get a motion?
I made the
And
motion.
move Devon second. That's to amend it.
Okay.
Okay. Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
No.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
No.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Now I need to make a motion to approve.
Adopt as amended.
Adopt as amendment. So I make a motion to adopt as amended.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
No.
Councilman Leon?
No.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Introduction of ordinance number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget to transfer $23,893 from General Administration, TBD Nonprofit Partners, 100158000-560100 to be returned to the General Fund 100 balance. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yeah, this was just a follow-up from our last meeting where we awarded some funds to nonprofits, and this was the remaining fund balance, and in the meeting, it sounded like there was a consensus to move that. I suggested you could just leave it there, but other council people said they wanted to move it and close out that fund. So this is just to take that, those remaining funds and put them into the general fund balance.
Anyone from the council have any other concerns, questions on this item? If not, anyone from the public?
I think this is a good idea. I think Councilman Wells brought that up a long time ago, didn't you?
I did bring it up, take it out at the time, but look where we're at now. And that's why I said take it out. And y'all heard me, biggest day, this was in July. I said this, and here now we're in September. I say things for a reason, but more important that where we're at now, regardless of who bring it up or who said, that we're moving on it and we're acting on it. So that's the best thing about it. So thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for even bringing this up.
Let me just clear, Council President Andrews had messaged me about it and was looking for the wording. I think that's the only reason my name is on it. I certainly take no credit for saying this. As I said in the meeting, I said you could just leave it there, so, but I appreciate it.
Hi, Brandy Jones, 811 Mooney Avenue, Hammond, Louisiana. I want to come and say that I feel that we should definitely keep it in the budget. We, the UMX Urban Market Experience, we're the only organization that requested and did not receive the grant funding this year. Last year, it really was a benefit for the businesses. We supported 5 businesses with the support of Hammond with providing advising and consulting services with them. Out of the 5 businesses that the city helped with, it was projected that a 75% increase in the business productivity. So, and I'm having a lot of business, because the word got out whenever we supported these businesses last year. We have a lot of businesses that are emailing and calling, requesting these services that was provided. So I want to urge you guys to really consider that. And also, as I sent the email to all of you guys, that UMX is still requesting the funds for this fiscal year.
Have you turned in all your paperwork and everything?
Yes, I sent everything over to Lacey and everything was accepted.
And how much did you ask for?
The request was for $75,000. And that is for the advising and consulting as well as the Hammond Festival to continue to bring diversity and inclusion into the city of Hammond.
To be clear, I didn't officially accept anything because the council had not authorized for a call to go out for applications. So just, I agree, I received everything that you sent, But I think I was very clear in those emails to you that said, this is the council's discretion, and it's their ability to have a call for proposals, and that this did not guarantee funding, or we didn't have an application cycle right now, and those kinds of things.
Right. You asked if I turned in everything I did, and everything was accepted by the city. Well, the
Okay.
paperwork that I turned in was accepted.
So this your second time asking for something from the city, right?
Yes. Actually, third. This is only, it was accepted the second time.
And I don't know if you noticed, we've been talking about a step-down plan that Councilman Sam keep bringing up a whole lot with the Children's Museum, and they've been stepping down. So, and you asking for 75, I don't even know what we got left in the account.
23,893 is what I think we were moving to the general fund, trying to move.
Yeah.
And that's the urban market experience, UMX.
Diversion. So, and I'm asking these your questions because if we'd have took the money out the account like I asked, we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. In my opinion, it's not fair. You got the money in the account. The money should have been removed, but it's still in the account. I'm just one voice. But tell some of the things what you done for the city.
Well, the reason why we got on the city, in my opinion, eyesight is because we had the 500 city votes for something that we proposed to the city of Hammond for the police department, and that's how I feel that the city felt that we were going to be useful, because we have a lot of support from this from the city. And since then, we've supported the city with their millage vote. We did the video for the Railroad Park project, and that was approved. And we also sent the email saying that the city of Hammond, with the urban market experience, that we would bring diversity and inclusion. We wrote a letter to the Main Street America, and that was awarded because of the diversity that we brought to the city of Hammond. So that was awarded. I did travel with them to Richmond, and we've supported over 1,000 businesses since 2020. We supported either in business growth, scaling up of businesses, business education, startups. We had the first startup program in January, a 9-week program where we brought, Hammond wasn't even on the map, but we advocated for it to come here, and the first startup Louisiana was in Hammond because of us advocating for the businesses here. So we've done a lot of support for the city and for businesses in the city.
That's all the questions I have for right now.
Anyone else from the public on this item?
So,
Well,
like people told me last week, this is just an introduction, so we're not voting on anything. It's just introducing because it is an ordinance.
well, could I get a motion to introduce? And let me clear this up. I did reach out to Councilwoman Gonzalez on this because I was trying to make sure I was on the right page of where we were in the last meeting, and I'm quite sure all of you have received a email from one of the members that sat on that board that we asked to put together to oversee this process as well. So,
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Right. Old business resolution number 1.
A resolution to approve the mayor to enter into a contract with Orco Company Services for preventative generator maintenance and repair services. Total annual preventative maintenance amount of $65,560 and repair services hourly rate of $119. RFP 24-14, Lacey Landrum.
As described at the last meeting, we put out a request for proposals for our generator maintenance and repair services. As we've had a lot of discussion already tonight, we took a lot into consideration in putting together this RFP. Jana worked very diligently to go to other jurisdictions to see how they acquired preventative maintenance services. And we took the RFP nearly wholeheartedly from St. Tammany Parish and other parishes to make sure that we had both an evaluation tool, a way to capture all the services that are needed. One of the things that we're trying to do is to do more preventative maintenance so that instead of having 1 or 2 inspections a year, we're increasing that amount. We're hoping that we find problems faster and that we can solve them faster so that we keep our generators in good running condition. This was especially true as we've had lots of illustrations tonight about Hurricane Ida. And we know that that requires a unique skill set to be able to do. So we added in this proposal a request to understand how they would perform during emergency times as well. So after this RFP went out, we received multiple responses. Those are all tabulated for you. There were 5 different responses. And there was an evaluation team that took the criteria that was described in the proposal. The criteria included things such as your experience, had 10 different really areas that you kind of focused in, and ways to put together a response. This allows for more customized responses. It allows for negotiation of responses, and it doesn't lock us into just the lowest price. It does say, you know, hey, if you're nearby, if you're a local contractor, explain that. Show us how you can get on the job site faster. If you have experience with lots of different types of generators, explain that. Show us how you're very robust in your expertise. If you have the ability to be in multiple places at multiple times to repair generators, explain that. Show us how you would do that. And so in this proposal response, they were asked to provide their qualifications and experience. They were asked to explain their emergency response items. They were asked if they have any kind of innovative concepts or tools or ways that they go about something. They were asked to describe a project schedule. They described their financial proposal just kind of in general. They described references, which we've asked for in the past as well. They described customer service. How would we make in calls? How would we receive back status updates? They asked for resumes. They asked for some sort of financial stability statement, which could also be related to the costs that you're providing and show that. And then any other information that you wish to provide. The criteria that were used to evaluate were also explained and enumerated in this proposal, because of course you can't put out a proposal without explaining how you're going to evaluate what you get back. So we had a group of city employees who looked at all the proposals that came in, and their recommendation is to go with ARCO. We do have a representative from the company here tonight to describe their proposal in more detail, should you have questions for them.
And okay, step to the mic, please.
Tom Sanders, president of ARCO Power Systems. Wanted to come here tonight, represent our company, and answer any questions y'all might have about our proposals, our experiences, and what we do. I've sent y'all all kind of a brief letter as far as response to some of the stuff that we, heard from the last meeting. We can go through that really quick and get that across to everybody. First of all, I'm sorry I wasn't here for the last meeting to represent us. We had a couple other things that I had to get to with some of the other projects. First, we want to strongly object and reject and take offense to some of the accusations made against ARCO in the last meeting being involved in any kind of bid tampering. Okay, that's something that we don't do. And we feel obligated to note that any baseless allegations against ARCO for bid tampering or anything else, would strongly be.
Speak in the mic, sir, where you can be heard,
Sure.
please.
We would strongly defend against that, for sure, with any legal avenues afforded to us. We take our reputation very, very seriously in our markets, in the markets we serve, in the communities we serve. ARCO Power Systems, we started in 1991 in the state of Louisiana. We've now been in business for over 32 years. We have over 55 employees, and we service the Gulf Coast, Texas, Alabama, and even Arkansas. We are part of a larger organization, the Paula Group, another Louisiana corporation that was established in 1973. The Paula Group is an ESOP with over 500 employees, ARCO being part of that. 90% of our people are employed here in Louisiana. We also have numerous people in Hammond and Tangipahoa Parish. As a group of companies, we pride ourselves on the commitment to safety, quality, honesty, and as we work to find solutions for thousands of clients and customers on a daily basis. As far as your grading scale system, I heard a lot about that during the last thing. Frankly, we like to see the grading scale RFP process. We believe it is a good process. The practice helps municipalities select the best vendor for what you personally need. We've bid with practices with St. Tammany, as discussed before. Ascension uses the same practice, East Baton Rouge, Kenner, and almost every bid that we work on in Texas. As far as the group that was here before, I can't really speak about what they are and who they are. I don't know anything about them. We do know that we're the Generac authorized distributor for Louisiana. I'm not sure exactly what they are, and I'm sure they're a reputable contractor and very reliable. We're just the Generac distributor for this area. What I do know is our qualifications. Our qualifications are just listed out. We are the authorized distributor for Generac, the only authorized distributor for Generac. We are authorized to sell their transfer switches, their generators. We have the largest parts inventory in stock in all of our offices here in Louisiana. We continually add to that stock because we want to be able to serve you better. Obviously, I know y'all have been through a lot of the issues just like we have with supply issues, so we're adding to those stocks so when storms come, we can respond to you guys better. We're a member of the EGSA. That's our association, Electrical Generator Associations. We're trainers for them as well. So we train our guys as journeymen, as apprentice, and we work with that to constantly improve our services so that we can work on every make, model, brand, and generator type that you would have. We're a licensed electrical contractor. We own all of our equipment, so when we come out to load bank your generators, which is a very important portion of the process, that all is stuff that we have, and we can do that work very quickly. We're the state supplier as far as for Louisiana, as far as generators and transfer switches. We've been doing that for the state of Louisiana. We've sold you guys numerous generators over the years through that state contract, and we've had that since about 2008. We're also the emergency response supplier for the state of Louisiana. We didn't just respond to you guys. We sat with GOSEP. We take our orders from GOSEP and the National Guard, and we responded to probably 4,000 to 5,000 calls during Ida. Y'all's tons as well. So we supply generators, we install generators, we engineer generator systems. We rent generators, and we're the emergency provider during natural disasters. Simply put, our focus is 100% generators. We don't do anything else. Your RFP was published 3 times. We saw each one of them. We went ahead. We did not see any addendums come out. We assumed nobody had any questions. We didn't. We were familiar with the process as well. We did put our bid in for $65,560, and we responded to all portions of it. In closing, we'd like to say that we commend you on enhancing your program. We think it's a very strong presentation that you've put. We've actually added, NFPA 110s to our submittals to you guys so that y'all can see what the industry standards are. And we do feel honored to be able to possibly do your work again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you.
Good evening, David Foster. I need to give my address. Are we still doing that?
What district you from? Just give me that. at this
District
time.
3.
Thank you.
Look, I'm sorry if I offended anyone. That's not my intentions. I'm a small business contractor. I'm a Generac authorized dealer service, the whole 9 yards. And I do run my business quite fairly. I don't have 55 employees like them. But all I ask for is fairness, and I'm not saying that they was accused of anything. All I wanted to see the tabulation, so the numbers. He just said he put the numbers in for $65,560. Now, one time I seen the tabulation check. If it wouldn't have been so much secrecy, the day we had the meeting, we wouldn't all be here. You know, all I wanted to do was see the numbers and see where it was at. Basically, I'm concerned about looking at the USB, which I'm glad they used the USB, because if you go back and pull that USB, you actually see the date that ARCO actually put on there. If you could actually show me that, that would settle everything for me. I don't need to go no further, because we're all in business to do one thing. It's to serve the community and to make sure, no, the date on the thumb drive itself.
That's the date from the drive.
Okay. But can I see that? Can I see that physically?
We can go get the
Yeah.
drive.
Well, we could do that after. And like I say, may the best company win. I'm not trying to fight with nobody. I give it my fair shot. I give it my best numbers, and that's all I ask. Fairness. Next time going forward, let's not have these closed door meetings. If it's a bid opening, let's open it all up. And let's be more open about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Like I said, it's not nothing against you guys. Really. I mean, I'm part of you. We both work with the same company, Generac, all these other dealers. It ain't nothing between us. Because at the end of the day, I may need you, to come help me somewhere down the line. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we do what we're doing, with these bids. Have it open, have it fair. And one thing I want to talk about too, when he said about being local, I'm here locally. I'm doing a lot of good things for the community, putting all my money in the community. And I just expect for the city, I'm not expecting the city of Hammond to give me nothing, but just taking consider of what I'm doing. I'm homegrown in this community, doing a lot of good things for the community. That just says a lot about me. Like I say, I don't want to spend 4 hours here. Just look at what I propose. And to me, I felt that my thing was never even looked at, but it's all good, though. Just whatever y'all decide, you make the best decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. David. President Kip, we have an issue here. I have an issue here. I see Ms. Lacy's name pretty much on everything. So the problem that I'm having is I have a question. I can't ask the person who sent the bids out. And sir, you did a good job. And it's nothing against your company. We never said nothing about the company. And I appreciate you being here. And anytime somebody win a bid, they need to come just like he did. But if we're gonna sit here and take department heads out, and Ms. Lacy gonna try to explain us stuff, and it's like on the committee. I think I sent it in an email, who all on the committee? And what qualification do they have to be on the committee? Who on the committee?
On the committee was Mike Noto, who is our city electrician, and the generator handles all of our generator electrical issues. Kent Swallow, who is our fleet director, he's the mechanic for the generator mechanical issues. Ryan Dugas, who is an electrician and the generator point of contact. He's also the main generator person for water and sewer, since the majority of our generators are with lift station and water wells. Guy Palermo, who is the water and sewer superintendent and has over 30 years of experience. 71% actually of our generators are on lift stations and water wells. And then Jana Swallow, who is the purchasing manager overseeing the process.
Yeah, so for all the questions that I have going down this agenda, Lacey, you on all of it.
I'm happy to answer questions if you have them.
Yeah, but the problem is And that's what President Kip, I'm glad you spoke out about your mom, my prayers go out. I can't tell you good luck, because ain't no good luck. My prayers go out to you and your family, and thank you for everything that you're doing. But we cannot keep having a meeting with Miss Lacey trying to explain everything in every department. If she gonna explain everything in every department, well, the city finna save a lot of money, because we don't need no department heads no more. That's what I see on this here paper and on the agenda. If everybody see it, her name pretty much on everything in every department. So if Mr. David have a question and he want to talk to Jana, he can't talk to Jana because she's not here. And if Jana sit here and put this together, she need to be able to explain it. That's all I ask for. So right now, what we always do is so much corruption and so much cover up. That's why when something come up, we only have one person speaking, but we can't get the truth from the department head. Ms. Lacey, when I went out to see the tree, you didn't go out there with me to see the tree. Robert Williams went out. So if Robert Williams will go out to see the tree with me, and his name on the thing as a department head, well, now the mayor going out with me. And that's what I say. We all know corruption going on. And that's why we have so many issues. So at this here point, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I had a closing remark for District 3. I can't keep sitting here going through this here garbage every Tuesday. We know it's a problem, but yet we keep covering up.
The only garbage we have is coming out of that microphone.
No, the garbage.
Bottom line
the garbage is coming from the administration.
I'm speaking, right?
No, the garbage coming from the administration.
I can't speak. Bottom line is administration's responsible, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And
didn't you say we make the rules? Didn't you say we make the rules? But didn't you say we make the rules?
You let me speak?
But didn't you say we make the rules?
Mr. President.
Yeah, you said we make the rules. Okay, what's she standing up for?
Because I'm sure she has something to say as well.
Hold up. She need to sit down. If I stand up every time one of y'all get up, hell, it's going to be a problem.
Devon show.
No, I know it. That's what you think. But see me,
I
I play the dozen. I say it all. You know what? No, I can't control myself no more. Man, I'm getting tired of this, man. Every time they say something, I got to be quiet. Well, you can't be tired. Straighten it up. Make it good for all the citizens of Hammond.
We make it good. You are nothing but negative.
I know. No, I know.
There's nothing we do good here, is it?
On this here sheet is all positive things. On this sheet here that I got, my closing remark is positive things. So that's why I'm here to say the positive thing that I have. I have nothing against those guys. I have nothing against that man. You know what? Let's just the truth come out for everything.
Exactly.
You got me mixed up with your chief. You got me mixed up with your chief.
There you go. Another.
No, you're right. You got me mixed up with him.
I got one thing I want to add. I mean, she did show me the date on the CD. I just like to see that in person. And I like to see the tabulations and the numbers, in person, not on that printout sheet of paper. Also, they asked for some of the things, like I said, they asked for, like for the hour cost. It was nowhere that they asked for that in the tabulations. And also they took the minority out of the package. That was a little bit concerning too. You only added a few more days of maintenance, which you shouldn't have took that minority paper out of that package. So it's a lot of things that were left unknown. And again, in order for me to protest, to do any protest, I should have received a tabulation, which I never did. I never received the tabulations. And to me, with all our fairness, I think I was owed that, to see what's what. And that's the most, concerning part about the whole ordeal. It's just so much secrecy. And that was it.
Yeah, Arco, what was your name again? Tom, yeah. Tom, I don't know what was told to you or whatnot, but I mean, what I took from last meeting, was it any negative reflection on your company or you? I didn't take it into consideration. It was more so the troublesome from not just the generator deal, it was from the roofing, a different bidding it's the process. And some reason there's a lot of vendors that seem like there's a problem with the process from the city. Now, I'm not a company bidding on it, so therefore I don't know, what's going on, but that seems, so it was nothing that I took from against Arco's company and a negative reflection. It was mainly there were some issues from some, like David and some others, about how the process was handled. And so it seems like it's always, a lot of times, there's something going on with the process on the bidding. And so that was kind of the issue that I gathered from the last meeting, not as far as Arco's, not a reputable company or anything. I mean, that's not what I took out of that. So, yeah.
Respectively.
Yeah.
What we took exception to
Yeah.
was about an hour and 10 minutes into the meeting, the fact that what was to stop them from opening the bid, seeing a bid for $74,725 and calling Arco and telling them that price. That, to me, speaks that he was accusing us of bid tampering, and that we take very strong exception to. So I would add that to that note.
Okay.
This process, like I said, many other parishes do it. It's a proven process. We submit ours. We don't win them all by far. We submit our skills, and this is what we do. Again, we'd love to service, the generators. We certainly accept his apology, and we'd love to move forward with you.
Once again, I thank you for coming out, sir, and in the process of winning the bid, I appreciate what you said and what you did. And if we get more companies like you to come out and even talk about the bidding process, because the whole idea, I want to make it fair for everybody. The whole idea, I want to see minorities do it too. That's the whole idea. So if I sit up here and act like I'm very pleased with every time somebody come up here and I see minorities and they can't win a bid, oh, I got a problem. And I'm hearing they done took the minority sheet out to keep from minorities doing, that's what I hear. And so you know what? Yes, of course, if I don't say nothing, I don't need to be in this world. So it's nothing against your company, but I want to make sure fairness. Everybody get an opportunity. That's all I ask for.
The sheet that was removed that keeps describing as a minority business sheet is a contact form, and you mark on that sheet if you are a minority business. In this proposal, there was not additional points rewarded either way if you were a minority or if you were a veteran-owned business. A lot of our grants, both federally and state, do award additional points based on that, and so that's what that's why that sheet is sometimes there, but that is a basic contact information sheet. It does not have, it doesn't have a point value, and it did not discourage anyone from producing a proposal in this.
Pam, 7 blank is my address. I have a question. Does the committee ever change? Is there diversity on the committee?
The committee does change based on what the proposal is for.
Okay.
So if the proposal is for different kinds of services that may have different people who are qualified in that area, then it would change.
Okay. And is it normal to have a husband and wife team on the committee?
I think that just happened because he's the main generator mechanic person.
It wouldn't be a
She's
conflict of interest?
The purchasing director.
It wouldn't be a conflict of interest?
They're not awarding any work.
I'm just asking a question.
Right. I'm trying to answer your question because according to our state ethics laws, you cannot receive any work if you have any ownership of those businesses. So if, for instance, let's say somebody's brother or somebody's sister or what you're kind of alluding to, that would be where the conflict of interest would happen. They're not allowed by law to even submit a bid for work if they're any city employee relatives who make that decision.
Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
New business resolution number 1.
Thank you.
A resolution to appoint a member to the Hammond Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board for a 3-year term to end July 29th, 2025. I just found out it's 2025 and not 26. They will be filling the vacancy after Celeste Shields. Councilman Andrews.
Okay. This is a resolution to appoint someone to fill the spot for Mrs. Shields, who's stepping away from the Civil Service Board. We had 2 applicants to complete the process, Mr. Patterson and Mr. Dubois. Mr. Dubois, are you here? Mr. Patterson? All right, Mr. Dubois, would you step forward, please? Give us your name and give you an opportunity to speak.
Yes, Mike DuBois. I live at 43464 Ferret Street in Hammond, and glad to be here. I just want to be or do anything that I can to help the city of Hammond, serve the city of Hammond, and if I can do that, I'm retired, so I don't have a lot of time on my hands, but I'm willing to help out when I can.
Okay.
That's it. Any questions?
I appreciate you showing up.
Yes.
I appreciate you showing up and
Yes.
coming tonight.
You bet.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be here in case there were any
Yeah.
questions and that kind of thing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick, Andre, is this the last seat that's vacant, or is there another one that's still vacant?
This is the last seat.
Yeah, I
that's
think this
vacant.
will give us a full board.
Good, I know they've been
Yes.
really looking for that, so.
Is Patterson here tonight?
No.
I don't see him in the audience.
And just to clarify what Lisa said, we verified with the state examiner, and the term expires July 29th, 2025. And that would be the term this person would be filling, until 2025.
Mike, thank you for being willing to serve the community. This is a very interesting board, so don't hold it against us if you don't enjoy it.
All right. Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to nominate Mike DuBois to fill this position.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Thank you.
Be careful what you ask for.
All right. Resolution number 2.
A resolution to approve Legends Sports Bistro and Billiards located at 1306 South Morrison Boulevard, Hammond, Louisiana, 70403, to obtain an alcohol permit for a restaurant. The owner is T-Jax LLC. Lacey Landrum.
We are seeking approval for on-premise high-low permit for Legends Sports Bistro and Billiards. This is the same owner. There's just a name change, which triggers the need for the council review and approval. This is a name change from Shooters Billiards and Grill. They have done everything we have asked. They've met all the requirements, including all inspections and zoning approval. And Miss Lindsay Latino is in the audience and will happy to answer any questions that you might have. Just for clarification, this is one of our businesses that maintains the 60-40 split. So they will continue their food and billiard sale as approved. Their alcohol is limited to 40% or less.
Okay. Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item?
This is in the same hall that's in now, that changing ownership?
Yes, sir.
Okay. all
Yes,
right.
sir. Same location at 1306 South Morrison.
Sorry, did you say it's a change in ownership or just a change of name? I thought you said it was just a change of ownership.
It is a change of name. They're changing to Legends Sports Bistro and Billiards.
But it's the same owners as Shooters?
Lindsay Latino is also buying into this. The owner is still listed, though, as T-Jax LLC.
Okay.
So are they here? T-Jax LLC, are they here tonight?
Yes.
Lindsay Latino. My address 47182 Milton Road in Tickfaw. So I purchased into T-Jax LLC. I had owned a small percentage, but when we decided to make the change, I put up some more money so that we can get the restaurant back to where we want it to be.
So you already were involved with it? You just...
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. But not at the same level.
Okay.
So you know all the static been going around the negative about the building, right?
Yes, sir. And that's why we're trying to get this all changed over.
All right. What's your age for this year? Your age, the age group they're gonna be coming to this place?
We're just hoping to have it more family friendly. So, all ages, really. It's a restaurant.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Anyone else from the public? All right, pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Aye. Councilman Andrews?
Abstain. Resolution number 3.
A resolution to authorize the purchase of two 2023 Dodge Ram 1500 regular cab trucks for the building department from Premier Dodge. Total cost $57,976.50. State contract 4400023795. Lacey Landrum.
Approved in last year's budget was the authority to purchase 3 vehicles for $105,000 total for all 3. One of those vehicles was purchased and completed, but due to all of the vehicle shortages that I know we've heard time and time again from this podium, we were not able to complete the purchase of the other 2 vehicles. Jana did a ton of research on this. We have looked at Colorados, we have looked at Durangos, we have looked at pretty much every vehicle type you can imagine that would be suitable for code enforcement to help them be able to pick up signs, carry ladders, carry other tools as they're doing their jobs. And fortunately, this just opened on state contract. We have confirmed with Premier Dodge, who is the state contract provider, that they have 2 2023 Dodge Rams available. It's the regular cab, not the crew cab, because remember, this is code enforcement. They may go out with 1 person or 2 people at most, but they don't take a crew of people typically to a site. We have $61,637 remaining and available for this purchase, so this is still coming in just a little bit under the available funds. And both of these would be assigned to code enforcement. They have been traveling and sharing between City Hall's vehicle and also between, it's not a Durango, it's a different one, and I just can't remember off the top of my head, but it is like a 1999, I think, model on its last leg, so.
I wanted to ask a question. I see a lot of these dealerships not locally around here. I know it says state, but
Right.
is it illegal to the state contract to like go to one of the local ones and say, can you match a state contract, or is that illegal to do that? I mean,
Well, I'm going to say illegal, but typically the state contracts are already vetted, they're already bid, so you typically get a better price. You don't have to do state contract, but most times that's the most efficient way and the best price to do it.
I just didn't. What I'm asking is if we ever, reached out to see if they want to match them. We're buying a lot of new vehicles lately, and a lot of them, we got dealerships in Hammond, all over Dodge, every one of them. So it'd be nice to start seeing some local, companies there. And I've heard mixed things about being able to match or not match. So, especially at this time, I'd imagine, they'd be nice to. I'm sure they'd do whatever they could to get close to that price or the same price. And if y'all may ask, they may have said no. I'm asking if we've actually reached out and figured that out with some of the local guys.
Yes, we have talked to our local dealerships multiple times about the vehicles that they have available, about the best pricing that they can offer us. And right now, this is the best pricing that we can bring to City Council to be, efficient with our taxpayer dollars.
Anyone else from the public have a question on this item? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Resolution number 4.
A resolution, one, accepting $533,740 grant from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, and two, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for improvements at Hammond's North Shore Regional Airport. This grant represents the state's 10% match of the cost, to reconstruct the south end of runway 1836, City Project 22401. A previously approved grant from FAA will cover 90%. There is no city match requirement. Lacey Landrum.
The council has previously approved the grant from FAA that covers 90% of the costs of this runway rehabilitation. The purpose of the rehabilitation is to improve the traction on this runway and some of the other issues that we have experienced and need to rehabilitate overall. This is DOTD Aviation's grant contract for 10% of the costs. There is zero match to Hammond for this project, and it will greatly improve this runway.
All right. Anyone from the public on this item? Any questions from anyone on the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Resolution number 5.
A resolution to grant a waiver of the City of Hammond's open container law for Railroad Roar event on Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The event takes place in Railroad Park, 106 Northwest Railroad Avenue. Michelle Kendall.
Good evening, Council. So we are excited to partner with Southeastern again this year for Railroad Roar. I'll go ahead and pass these out to you. We are hosting several activities in town, including
Thank you.
live music concert at Railroad Park. And as you are accustomed to, we usually do sell alcohol at our Picnic in the Park events. However, we're just asking for an open container waiver this time around so that we're encouraging our restaurants that already sell alcohol that they can just do to-go drinks versus having on-site sales occur at the park. So this will kind of simplify things a little bit for us in terms of giving our restaurants and our downtown businesses options to give people to go, but also makes it easier for us too because we don't have to coordinate someone setting up on-site and selling. So that's the goal with trying to do this time around. We do partner with the Tangibo Chamber for this event and the Southeastern Alumni Association. We'll have live music, as you can see on your flyers there. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So this waiver here would grant the restaurants in the downtown area, it just wouldn't be set up at the park?
Yeah, so usually whenever we are hosting one of our live music events, we usually get a special event permit so that ourselves or someone with a catering license can set up to do sales at the site of the event. This would basically just allow all of our businesses to participate to do to-go
drinks,
alcoholic beverages if they choose to do so.
Did you plan this during our council meeting for a reason so that we don't get to come?
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
That day? Okay. Well, we didn't, but that is Southeastern Homecoming Week. So we encourage you all to perhaps maybe finish a little bit early that day and come on down to Railroad Park.
Yes.
All right. Anyone from the public have a question or concern on this item? If not, pleasure of the council.
I'm very glad Southeastern and DDD are doing more stuff together, so this is a great event. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job, Michelle. Keep it up.
Okay, reports, council reports.
Actually, BJ, I want to ask you, I'm glad you're here tonight. Can you give me a little update on the Villa West poles over there on Rue Simone, the one that's leaning? Sure. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm glad you're coming, man.
BJ Couvion, Entergy,
Yeah.
Louisiana. How are y'all? So as described to you, so
Mhm.
those poles belong to AT&T. It's
Mhm.
an AT&T, Bell South route.
Yeah.
So we've contacted them. We're waiting on their engineers. So once they set their poles, we transfer our equipment to their poles.
Yeah. So what's the status right now? You have an update status? I
don't have a
understand the
status.
process.
You
but,
and I
yeah.
talked about it
Mhm.
last week, and I
Okay.
haven't heard back from AT&T. However, I will reach out to them tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll follow up with you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good right now. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I want to thank the planning and zoning for recording the special meeting they had on Friday. And I want to thank Shanita in the water department for going out with a worker to help find a water meter. And I think it's very important that they do leave out the office to have a general idea of what's taking place and what's going on when these guys say they can't find this and can't find that. And I want to give a special thanks to Desiree and Charles for working on getting the new playground equipment clean, rails from the mud from the rails, so I want to appreciate that. And Mr. Mike, I've been seeing him out there every day, so they actually work in the park for a whole week trying to get everything straight, so I want to appreciate that. I want to thank them for everything they're doing. And Ms. Lacey, let me get an update on Carolina Street as far as the name change.
That has passed out of 911, which was our first stopping place. Now it is under review by the first responders. And so we hope, I pulled the list today, and it looks like maybe there's 28 people or so total on the existing Grant Street that the first responders just evaluate how many calls they receive in that area, because if you'll remember when we first talked about that, we want to try to make sure that Willie Grant and Grant Street don't get confused, since they are in totally different spots of the city. So as long as we don't show like just a crazy amount of calls, we think we can move forward with this.
Okay then. On top of that, yeah, I definitely wanted to say thank you for all that everybody doing in those departments. Mr. Mayor, I want to apologize for how I act tonight, but if you was in my shoes and from the calls that I received from the district, I'm tired. So, of course, I wish I can sit up here like you, smile, grin, try to work with the people, but I can't do that. It's a 24/7 job for me, and God knows, please don't say nothing. God knows I wasn't looking for this job. See, I wish I could laugh, but you know what? I'm pissed. Yeah, I'm pissed, but so much going on in District 3, and we talk about racial. Yeah, we have an issue. You know, nobody want to talk about black and white. Nobody want to talk about brown and white. But we do have an issue. From the contracts to everything going with the city. I can't sit up here and act like I'm happy. I can't sit up here, act like I don't have a problem. Yeah, we got 1,000 problems in District 3. Don't nobody never want to hear the problem we have in District 3. We the same ones dealt with the sewer in the house. For 3 years, we talked about it. Nobody in the other district had to deal with sewer coming up in their house, repairing their floors, the kids getting sick. Nobody know nothing about that. These are things that we go through. Everybody's sewer go through District 3. The trees, anything somebody talk about, yes, it affect District 3. They don't come up here and talk, but they call me. They stop by the house all day, every day. So ain't no such thing as me relaxing. I can't relax if I'm sitting in my neighborhood. Of course, I would love to put meat on the grill, like you all do, in front of y'all house, watch the game. I can't do that. We have problems, and I'm asking the city to help. The park, that's all I ask for. We still got a park not completed. That's all I ask for. Get a kid somewhere to go. Get a kid something to do. You know what I've been asking for. Begging. Make it about the kids. It's not about me. It's about the kids. Charles got a chance to see. I was so glad he stayed around. And you know what I learned? A park don't have no color to it. The whites stop in the park, play basketball. Saturday, a white lady brought 3 kids. A black guy had 3 kids. You know what I said? Damn. Racism is taught. Those kids, not one time, those kids looked at a color. They played together. At this council meeting, we can't even talk together. We can't solve nothing together. We can't do nothing together. I do have a problem. And you know what? I'm black. All y'all see what color I am. I have a problem. Anytime somebody come up here talking, I'm gonna pay 100% to what they saying. Whites call me about problems in District 3. I'm gonna get them solved. Blacks call me about problems in District 3. I'm gonna get them solved. I'm gonna do everything I can. We shouldn't have to go back and forth at every council meeting talking about the same thing when it don't affect you. If it affect you, boom, you get it done. Yeah, I have to call names. I have to call names because you know what? That's why I see problems at. We could talk about a golf cart, we take care of that. We talk about a tree, we go back and forth. Talk about electing the chief of police, boom. I gotta go back and forth, back and forth. We have problems. I picked this chief of police because I thought he was gonna do community service. And it goes to show you, I make bad decisions myself because I didn't pray on it. God knows I didn't think we'll still be up here going into the 5th year, still having problems. I want a safe community just like everybody else. That's all I ask for. We got issues. The issue will never be solved if we can't sit down like adults and talk about it. Thank you so much.
Any other council reports? October the 2nd? Yeah, October the 2nd at 5:30, I'll be hosting a town hall meeting here to discuss that with my district about the police chief and several other concerns in our area. So we'll be here on that day at 5:30. Mayor, you have anything you'd like to add under the reports?
I could rebut a lot that was just said. We don't see color at City Hall. We work with everyone. People step in our office and we try to help everyone. We have 5 districts, the entire city that we support. And we want to help everyone. It's too easy to call us and ask for help. I'm not even gonna, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.